Arnulfo got out of a Mexican prison this April, just as COVID hit the country hard. But when we first met him, he wasn't feeling too relieved. His brother, Adan, was still a prisoner and had got the virus, and he'd been taken here to this hospital in Puebla. Arnulfo had been waiting outside for any news for 2 weeks, sleeping in this tent.
Right now, I feel good to be at liberty, but if they gave me a choice between the lives of my brothers and to stay in prison, I'd stay in prison.
And that's saying something. Overcrowded cells, a lack of basic medicine, and no way out. You couldn't get a much better breeding ground for COVID than Mexico's jails. We asked Arnulfo to phone a friend who was still inside and tell us about conditions.
Here, if you haven't got medicine, you're in trouble because a paracetamol costs 75 cents. You get me? There's no medicine, and the medical service doesn't attend to you.
How many sick are there since I left?
Almost everyone in the dormitory is sick, brother.
Mexico's government says early screening and isolation has prevented many prisoners in federal jails getting sick. But for NGOs, this is still a ticking time bomb.
In cells where 4 people should be living, in some prisons there are more than 20. In that situation, with this pandemic, the infections are exponential.
The government's tried to reduce overcrowding. In April, it pushed through an amnesty law to release thousands of low-risk inmates from federal prisons. But after, nothing happened.
The law or the proceedings, the legal proceedings, in order for this amnesty to occur, depend on the executive branch. The final decision depends on the judiciary branch, 2 independent powers. A lot of slow bureaucratic proceedings in order for things to go from intention into reality.
And that's what's not happened. It's got stuck in the red tape then?
Yes, exactly.
In a separate process, state prisons, notoriously the most overcrowded, have managed to free more than 3,500. That's still just a drop in the ocean, about 2% of the total prison population. Arnulfo's one of them, although he says he had to fight for it. But freedom had become bittersweet by the time we met again. His brother, Adan, had since died of COVID. His mum was devastated.
What can I do? I try to be cheerful. There's no other way. There's no other way but to keep on going.
When was the last time that you saw Adan?
4 years ago. It's an injustice what they did to him.
She says that because Adan spent those years in prison without his case even going to trial. Thanks to a clogged up legal system, more than 70,000 of Mexico's prisoners are in exactly the same situation. Now Arnulfo is about to begin a new struggle, finding work as an ex-con in a country where unemployment is surging. But before that, there's something he has to do. Take his brother's ashes to the cemetery. John Holman, Al Jazeera, Mexico City.